Okay. We're going to call this segment here Perfect Day Protection. Now, what and who do you think you're protecting? Believe it or not, you still don't know how to protect yourself from yourself. But it's not yourself. Because if you had the choice, you wouldn't have picked the belief systems that you had. You would have picked ones that were based on unconditional love and care for yourself. You came in as a pure little spirit. And then as soon as you were in the womb, you're on the way to your tomb. Because the two people that were looking after you when you were in the womb were your parents, and they were adulterated already. And they loved you the best they could, without a doubt. But they did a really crappy job, just as we all did a crappy job being parents, because we were sent to a government school, which is totally corrupt, that broke our spirit, and you know it. You only liked recess and gym and art, and you might have liked a little boy named Art. I don't know. But the reality is you didn't like school, but you liked the social part of it because it's useless. We came out of there knowing hardly anything. You know, in those 12 years, you could have learned everything in 3 years that you needed. Everything. That's proven. The rest of those 9 years you could have played, done your passion, done your purpose, dance, learn how to sing. Look at all the things you could do. It's all about wasting time and making little robots. And now you're a robot against yourself. You turned on yourself. So that's why we call it the Perfect Day Protection. That's why we wrote the PDG guide, the Perfect Day Guide, and we give it away free. I mean, if you really were to go through that Perfect Day Guide and you were to really dismantle it, write questions down, call us, or get a consult. I mean, a consult is only $150. It's lifetime support. Who does that? Well, we can do it because we're right. Okay? You don't want to diet. You want to live it. Mm-hmm. Okay? You don't want to survive. You want to thrive. You don't want a practitioner. You want to be your practitioner. You don't want to look for a hero or wait for a hero. You want to become your own hero. There's no hero coming. There's no hero coming. There's no savior coming out of the clouds. Any one of you want to bet me that there's no savior coming out of the clouds? Go ahead. Put down $1,000 and I'll put down 10,000. But we have to have a time limit. Well, it's eternal, dear. Well, then I'm not doing the bet. The reality is to stop being so ridiculous. You need to save yourself. You need to be the hero for yourself, and that's it. And that's the truth. I was trying to get that through to Lorraine for 4 years. But I was. And it's not, and Lorraine's not dumb. She had dumb thoughts. The dumb thoughts were she had no value. Her husband had value. Her children had value, but she didn't have value. I didn't have value. My children had value, but my family had value, but I had no value. And when parents have no value, then the children have no value. And so goes the family curse. And this is why we want to create a perfect day. Gentle, baby, loving steps throughout the day. And that we learn how to play. And we turn the kitty litter into a sandbox and we keep it that way. Lorraine?
Yeah, exactly. Who doesn't want a perfect day? And when is the best time to do that? Really, some people want things to be exactly the way they should be before they get started on things. And when is that? When is that? It's never going to happen. So now is the time. And if it's not now, then it's now. And if it's not now, then it's now, right? Because there is no perfect time. But we have to be able to step into that and create our perfect day, our perfect lifestyle. And if I can do it, you can do it. There's no downside to taking those baby steps in that direction of getting what you want and feeling good and honoring your body. There's no downside. We don't have to see a whole list of conditions and the end one being death when you do this. Right? We want life. We want more. We want more spark, more happiness, more enthusiasm, more breath. I remember reading, there was a Chinese proverb, and he said something like, when we were born, we're given the amount of breaths that we're going to take. And when we slow the breath down, we'll live longer. So when you slow your breath down, that brings you into the parasympathetic nervous system, which is our calm, rest, and repair. That's where we should be. That's where we should be doing life. We should be more like deer. You know, I'm walking down this pathway, and I see a deer over there, and I stepped on a twig and his ears went up. And he looked and he said, "Oh, it's just you." Whoop, back down. We don't do that. We carry that with us. And we don't give ourselves permission to breathe. We don't. So
You're not looking for peace. You're looking for alignment. How long does it take for you to get into alignment after coming out of alignment? I'll tell you how long. You all run programs. If it's Jimmy, it could be a lifetime. If it's with Sally, it's 3 hours. You've all decided on how pissed off you're going to be at every individual person and every individual thing. And most of you are being pissed off at certain things and certain people because that's what your family did. There are no genetic diseases. It's only epigenetic. That means above. And it's always been about your thoughts. Listen, I tell this story in the last 2 weeks because it's true. I'm at a family gathering. Somebody's at the table. Yeah, just started going out with her. I said, "Oh, that's nice." Yeah, I got to go pick her up next Sunday. Why? Because in her family, they have a gene, breast cancer gene, which there is no such thing, by the way. And she's going to get both her breasts removed so that she never gets cancer. I go, "Okay." I said, not another word. Human beings have been programmed to suffer. It's all about the suffering. You'd be surprised on how many of you are actually hurting yourself throughout the day so that nobody else hurts you. I'm not kidding. Every one of you almost.
that's true.
You know, once you walk the path of the heart, if you were to make every choice dependent on your heart, all you got to do is put your finger on your heart. And there's a God spot in there. And all you got to do is touch your heart. Every time that you feel like you're coming up, touch your heart. And you will pick up that vibe. Every time that you, oh my God, every time I talk about this or I get together with that person or this goes on, it's the same story, isn't it? The same pissed off you. The same you trying to prove your point. Want to be right. So we got to fight. Touch your heart. The next time somebody challenges you or tries to trigger you, just take a deep breath. You know the person who goes, "So what's your answer? What's your answer?" Don't have one. Bye. You don't understand that you've all been programmed to actually cause the explosions in your life. You have disruptions in your life, whether they're disruptions like pimples or any other type of disease, emotional or physical, and you created it. That's not true. Every time I'm with them, well, then stop being with them. Yeah, but I live with them. Why are you living with them? If you can't live with them, why are you living with them?
Exactly.
Why don't you tell a little story, Lorraine? This would be about now.
It would be a good time, eh? Yeah.
And remember, this is a Braveheart hero story. You know, the reality is, I got to tell you something. I was married for 24 years. I was the terrorist for my wife, and she was the terrorist for me. I only wanted to change, and she didn't want to change. So who was right? Whether I want to buy pie or I want to eat right or I want to drink right or live right, there was no right or wrong. I was terrorizing her.
Exactly.
I was terrorizing her. Yeah, but I'm the good guy. No, you're not. You're the guy terrorizing her.
Yeah. So I left a marriage of 43 years.
Or you always have to outdo me, don't you? But go ahead.
And I knew a long time ago I should have left. And I didn't. We had kids, you know, I got married in a church and I said, death do us part. And that kept me there. Death do us part.
And she was going to stay there until she died. And she was dying.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
That energy light was barely
The
there.
dead can walk.
They can. I'm proof.
Poof.
Because I'd numb myself out. You know,
Yeah.
I wasn't going to feel that pain anymore, but I wasn't feeling anything anymore. And taking Daryl's whole life coach the first time, when I came home, the whole life coach and the non-surgical, when I came home, I felt so great. And I was telling
For getting away from me.
I was telling my husband about it, and he looked at me and he said, "You're changing." And I said, "You bet." And he said, "Am I losing you?" He knew that we shouldn't have been together. You know, he knew. And then I took the course again. And I had a lot of aha moments on how I was living my life. I was the greatest pretender. I pretended everything.
But guess what? It saved her life until she had found her hero.
Yeah.
That would be her.
Yeah, we've got to be our own hero. Like Daryl said, there is no hero coming. You are it. You are it.
But honestly, guys, it didn't end there, because you can't have a 43-year relationship and think it's going to be over right away. I mean, you know, she was in Mexico and she was one of the master trainers down there. She'd be doing really great. And I'd always know when she was slipping back into, because I'd come in and she'd be white as a ghost and look like she was embalmed.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
The last time I said, look, if you need to kill yourself, at least drag yourself off the property, because I'm already being accused of.
It's true. Yeah, our life force goes out when we start to sink. And you can see it in people. You can see that brightness. And it's just that aura, right? You can feel it.
It's called the field. It's called the field. Right now, guess what? My energy, my waves they're waves like the ocean. All our waves are coming together. And you know what? You can't take those apart. They come together. Why do you think during COVID we weren't allowed to get together when a virus can't jump 1 inch? Okay, because you understand, remember what I said this morning? Influence. Nobody can catch a flu, even though I know all of you are going to this year go, oh, I caught the flu from my mother, my brother, or something. I mean, seriously? Too bad that we don't think. There's no such thing. Anyways, right now, all of our vibrations are all intermingled. Whether you want to believe this or not, all our vibrations are intermingled on the whole planet. So you will be affected, but you don't have to be infected.
You have that choice.
Yes.
You can choose to Go there.
You ride the wave. Ride the wave means riding your own wave. Your actual aura, your vibration, your field, it actually vibrates like a heartbeat. Boom, 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 boom. And it does. And then guess what? Okay, I'm going to go off track just a little, but it's not off track. There's 120,000 receptors on your cell. Okay? When you are stressed out, which is almost all the time now, it is. I'm never stressed out. I might have too much going on, but I make decisions very quickly because it's from my heart. From your mind, you don't use it. Don't use it. Use the heart. It's infinite. The mind is limited. Every time you stress out, every time that you have anxiety, every time that you don't move on something to get something out of the way, every time you go back into a relationship that is dysfunctional, whether it's with yourself or someone else, you're creating a thickening on your cell. How many people here know that science still believes that the nucleus is the brain of the cell? And guess what? Of course it would, because science is based on the male ego. I don't believe in ego, but on male machoism, right? It is. And guess what? The nucleus is actually the gonads. It's the reproduction system. So of course, men would actually think that it's the brain because that's where most men's brains are. Now, the reality is, let's get back to the topic. The topic is that the actual brain of the cell is actually the wall, the layer. The outer layer of the cell is actually the brain. How many people know that this is not a brain? The brain is not a brain. It shouldn't even be called that. It's a computer. And all anybody's ever did was put programs in it, and you're running programs to actually feed the psycho tyrants out there. You are. That's all. That's what that is. Your brain is just a chemist, and it's just a computer. And actually, the biggest brain in the world is actually called the skin. And the receptors are your eyes, your ears, and your nose. That's right. Because that's where you pick up, because wherever your focus goes, that's where you grow. And it's the perception. That's what creates your perception. When I walk along, I don't see the turd on the ground. I don't see what a lot of people see. I see the beauty. I go for beauty, and that's where I focus. Stop wanting to tell your story, because most of you are telling a horror story. And when you do that, because everything is about vibe, right? Signals. If you have a negative signal and it keeps going on, you create a thickening on your cells. How many people know that you have a cell print? How many people know that the spirit doesn't just come down, it goes into the womb and there you go? The energy is coming in 24/7, even though there is no 24/7 in the universe. There's no time. But the energy is continually coming in, and every time that you stress out, every time you create a thickening on your cell and you block your spirit. Do you know why the body rots? Because you don't let the spirit in. You don't let the energy in. And then guess what? Because of your emotional blocks, because you were programmed to block unconditional love, unconditional care, and none of you should be practicing forgiveness. You shouldn't have judged anyone in the first place. We all need to practice forgiveness. Okay, how long? How long? Well, till you stop judging. When you no longer judge, you no longer have to forgive, do you? What a bunch of crap. Seriously, I'm making my own stuff. Is that okay with you? I'm throwing it all out. So now you're creating a thickness on your cells. So now you're not allowing the energy to come in. So now you're creating a swamp within the cell. Does anybody know that when you are stressed out, there's no energy coming into the cell? And remember what I said, you have 100,000 different proteins in your cell. And depending on the frequency will depend on, guess what? 20 amino acids will arrange each other's cell differently to create a protein. Did you get that? Are you with me? That protein is actually going to create like how a clock works. And as long as there's energy coming in, this is moving around. and it's doing things. And as soon as there's no energy coming in, they don't move. That means life force dies. Did you get that? What's wrong? I don't know. I was diagnosed that I'm depressed. You're not depressed. What happened was you didn't allow the energy force to come in, the vital force. And what happened was you kept telling this anxious story over and over again. Okay, this is just a computer. And what happens if you overheat the computer? It'll shut down to protect itself. You call that depression. There's no such thing as depression. Hey, what's wrong with you? I'm depressed. No, you're not. You overheated your brain. Now go to the beach. Okay, go to the beach. Get away from your family. Get away from those so-called friends. Get away from the city. Get away from everything, and you'll be okay in just 3 to 5 days. Go hug a tree. Go rent a cabin. Okay, you burnt your computer out. Because why? How did I burn my computer out? Because you're running a dysfunctional program. Doesn't matter how many times you run the program until you get a new program in. You don't go in and pull the program out. You put a new one in. Oh my God, there's so many things that I'm a sinner. I'm so guilty for so many things. There's so much I have to work on to just, Are you like out of your skull? Right here we start. You are born again. Right here, right now, your slate's clean. Yeah, but you don't know how many people Lorraine slept with. Oh, sorry. It doesn't matter. Did you have fun?
You bet.
Okay. Do you understand? Go ahead and judge me. I don't give a shit. You're only judging me from dysfunctional beliefs because nobody should be judged on this planet. My God, as soon as you get here, your parents are trying to kill you and they don't even know it. And then you get sent to a governmental school that was created by the Rothschilds and Rockefellers that eat children. Oops, just lost somebody. Let me tell you something right now. I am humbled that you're still here. You think I'm kidding? This is a life-threatening, not sometimes a fun-filled adventure. Every store you go to, they're trying to poison you. You can't turn on a tap unless it's poisoning you. You can't see the blue sky most of the time in Calgary. There's 5G everywhere in Calgary. They haven't killed us yet. And did you notice something? Nobody's ever changed anything. Couldn't stop the 5G, and the only thing it gave you was a 15-second faster download for the movie that was trying to corrupt you. That's the only thing it did. You can't get the chlorine out of your water. You know why? Because you're not going to like this. It's called Planet. It's not called Planet. It's called Plan ET. 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 They handed the keys over to the Rothschilds. We're being feasted on until you can raise your spirit high enough. You get to be recycled. Isn't that something? We're all going to get recycled like the recycling we do. I don't recycle. I don't need to recycle. Because everything that I have is based on science and nature, not science and chemicals. I don't need to recycle anything. The way I live my life, I'm not causing any damage to the planet. And understand the same idiots that are telling you to recycle are the same ones that are making all the plastic. The same ones that are putting the pollutants in your water, the air, and on your TV and the radio and everywhere else. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, kids, we're going to learn to recycle. All we are doing is programming our children. The same people that are kicking our ass and telling us we're not polluting the planet. Corporations are polluting the planet. They go and put all the garbage food on the shelves. They put all the foods with all the chemicals and the flavors in them. Just shut the hell up. Shut up. And every teacher out there at school, shut up. Just shut up and start thinking and stop programming all the little children to become good little robots. And let me tell you, I have no problem with two guys getting together, two women getting together, but I don't want to shove down my throat. Okay. And I don't have any problem with any way you want to dress, but don't shove it down my throat. Okay. And that's the reality of it. And the reality is it's all about this. It's how far they are manipulating us. Do you know why? What's the first three letters of funeral? Fun. They have fun every time that our loved ones get done. It's a joke. We're a joke. You're not going to have a perfect day until you know that we don't matter. And you will not matter until you understand you don't focus on matter. You focus on the invisible. The invisible is your spirit, and you feed that. And you do not give a shit what your family thinks, or your friends, or your neighbors. You mind your own business, and you love and care for yourself, and you understand the only way that you are going to be free on this planet is if you become a spirit being. And the world is never going to change, and the world is not dying. The planet's dying. The only carbon they're after is us. We're carbon. And without carbon, this planet will die. We need the carbon. Nobody does any research. It's all made up. There's no climate change. Why don't you go back in history, go back 500 years, go back 500 years, do a trace, and guess what? It's all there, and you're going to find out there's no climate change. It's all just ridiculous, you know? This is why one day I'm just going to be gone. I just had enough. I quit already. I quit for 7 years. I only came back 13 years ago. I just had to leave because it was just, I couldn't take it anymore. Eventually, I don't know. Sometimes I just have to take a break. I just have to get away. And this is why I live where I live. I live in the middle of the jungle, but right near the beach, but there's people around, but it's the most beautiful thing. It's the only reason why I can make it here today to talk to you. If I had to live in Calgary, if I had to live like everybody else, I would quit this business because I would feel hopeless. When I can go and pick my day from the moment I rise until I close my eyes, I have built beauty around me. Then I can come into this and go, let's dive into it again. Because none of you have to be suffering. None of you have to have dis-ease. You know why you have disease? Because you believe in it. I don't believe in disease. You're only sick because you believe in sickness. I don't believe in sickness. I don't believe in disease. I believe in total health. And even if I feel like I'm a little bit tired, I got a sniffly nose, I still believe in total health, and I pull myself right in. I don't do what you guys do, go along really good and then crash and then drink yourself into oblivion or eat shit or go and do a whole bunch of drugs because you can't handle your life. You go in, you go out, you go up, you go down. I don't do that. And you know why? Do you know why you still do it? Do you know why you still play teeter-totter? Because whoever suffers the most loves the family the most. Family's not everything to me. My family better become everything to themselves. When I first started getting into unconditional love and care and bringing up my own vibration, I was called Jesus, okay, Buddha. You're so selfish. Oh, you should see it. God loved my wife. She'd get my kids calling me names. I didn't attack them for it. I just wasn't staying there. I wasn't staying there. I am not going to live like 99.9% of the population is going to live all their life. And guess what? It's not going to change. Are you going to be okay with that? Are you going to be okay that nobody changes in your family? That they're going to poison themselves on an emotional, mental, physical level? Because they're going to. And they're going to think you're a crackpot. But they don't say it out loud now. They wouldn't dare. They respect me to not do that. And I'll go to their homes and they can eat all the stuff they want. But I'll tell you one thing right now, I'm not going to eat their stuff, and they know it. And they better not disrespect me. Just because you're the majority, don't think you can get away with disrespecting me. Just because you think you need to wear a mask, don't think that you can disrespect me. Just because you're government approved, don't think you're going to disrespect me. Just because you're all part of the medical system, don't think you're going to disrespect me or I'm going to go for you. Don't think that you can abuse me emotionally or physically. Don't think that you can down me to make me come back to where you are. I'm never lowering my vibration again. This wasn't about me. Do you get why I just said what I said? Because that's where you will have to be. Don't think that you're going to get away with loving and caring for yourself without your family all coming at you and attacking you. And even people that are in natural health in your family, if you actually got into unconditional love, they'll be attacking you too. Because they're just in natural health, kind of. I mean, only 99% of all health practitioners are hobby health. Inky dinky schnitzel house. I mean, I'm in for the long haul, baby. Because you know why? Because the only way to really, truly get off of this planet is to get off on yourself. Did you get that? Where's your vibration at? Well, you really think low vibrational people are going to get out of here? No, they're going to the butcher, aren't they? Aren't they being harvested? Aren't they the ones taking the drugs? Right? You do know that, don't you? You take drugs, you shut down you shut down what? What do you shut down? Signals. You totally shut down the signals. So now you're shut down. Every drug does that. That's what it's for. So that you'll stay inflamed, but not feel the pain, become dehydrated, and then you'll have a ball growing in you of scar tissue and calcium, and then you'll let them cut it out of you. Isn't that nice? And then guess what? That whole ball of scar tissue and calcium, we can turn it around with cell-sonic non-surgical in the perfect day, and you changing your mind. We do it all the time. And there's nothing special because every one of you can do what we do, right?
That's right.
Every one of you could do what we do. Every one of you could be a practitioner, an emotional, nutritional, whole life health coach in 9 days. And government can't do a thing about it. And I never want to be government approved. Would you like to be government approved? You'd have to be toxic and twisted. Even naturopaths are toxic and twisted now, aren't they? Because they went and bought into the government system, right? Ooh, nice. But don't worry, we're approved by the World Organization of Natural Medicine. I'm never going to compromise myself. I think that's obvious, right? They can kiss my ass. So if they're going to come for me, they're going to have to work hard. And guess what? Government people are lazy. You have to go to them for them to get you. Oh, thanks for coming. Yeah. We'll take you down now. Yeah. They're not sure what to do with me. Do you understand? Really? Really? Are we going to protest or are we going to protect? Which one? Which one should we do? Should we learn how to protect ourselves? Or should we go around just protesting? I'm not telling you shouldn't do it at all, but guess what? Protesting takes a lot of energy, and where have we gotten so far? What if you just said that you weren't going to let anybody dishonor or disrespect yourself, and you're going to start with yourself, and you actually pulled it off for a day, and then you did it for another day, and you did it for another day? That would be called the perfect day, wouldn't it? And if you did that and you continually did it, what would your life be like? What do you think, Lorraine?
You would have created your own perfect life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what the perfect day guide is about. Trust me. You didn't spend anything to come here today. You don't have to. You can download the book for free. Don't spend anything. And then go in and learn that thing. Consume it. And then find your authentic self. And don't thank us. Thank yourself for being a braveheart. Because we'll thank you because we'll feel the vibe. And thank you for bringing up the vibration on the planet. And all you had to do was unconditionally care for yourself and love yourself.
Most people are looking outward for how they can fix.
Well, for God's sakes, I was waiting for a savior all my life.
But
My
it's
father would get up there every Sunday and every Wednesday and every Monday. And he would say, he's coming. And it would be a he. And I'm saying he's not coming. Maybe he will come. We could use all the help we can get. But right now, why don't we be the hero of our story and just start with gentle, baby, loving steps?
we are our own hero, and we have to dust off that cape and put it back on. We had it when we were kids. I remember watching one of my grandkids, and he 100% thought he was Spider-Man. And we all are. We all have these hidden talents. Our body performs perfectly when we give it what it needs. All we've got to do is figure out what that is, right? And that's the perfect day.
And understand, I'm not angry and I'm not upset at anything. I get it. Because that's not what I believe in. Anger doesn't work. Getting upset doesn't work. I'm just trying to dramatize the moment to try to crack your coconut from the inside out. Somebody asked here, what is your take on upper respiratory tract infections? Well, just know this. It's been the topic for 3 years now, 4 years, right? So guess what? The more you talk about something, the bigger it gets, doesn't it? Huh? You can talk yourself into anything, yes or no.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just know that. But just know this, that the elderly are dying of, or passing on, I correct myself, passing on from respiratory problems more than anything else, right? So we do know that there's problems here, but just know this, everyone. How do you breathe when you have anxiety? Okay, so what did I tell you? I said the signals that you are giving your body create your diseases or your healing. Yes or no? So now do we have those two things out of the way? The next thing is that what are the elderly eating? Oh, there's a big one. Okay, most of them don't have teeth, so it's mushy. Okay, tea and toast. Okay, a lot of them are in nursing homes. A lot of them don't have enough money to eat because we kind of throw them to the side. I mean, seriously, isn't that something? I'm working for my retirement? Like, who does that? Really? I can't wait until they put me out to pasture. You ever notice that most people, when they retire, they just get sick and they leave, right? Okay, where's your passion? Where's your purpose? That's one thing. And the reality is that, did you ever notice that only Braveheart heroes breathe deeply? Only people that aren't fearful breathe deeply. So that's why only 1 out of 1,000 people really breathe properly. But then understand this. The infection starts here. But remember something. If you make higher vibrational choices, you wouldn't be eating lower vibrational food, would you? And then most of you are going to tell me, well, I don't have enough money to eat right. Well, that's not really true. That's not true. I eat one good meal a day. And everybody knows that. I don't lie. And the reality is where does most energy come from? From your spirit. When you feed your spirit. Everybody knows, if you know about health, that eating is the lowest form of energy. Thank you very much. Your personality, your attitude is where energy comes from. But still, if I'm going to eat, it's going to be high vibrational. So let's talk about this. And you can believe it or not believe it. Everybody here needs to buy a nebulizer, one for the car, portable. Well, they're just chemtrailing every day here. Okay. And you also know that you, every weekend, you want to celebrate, right? You party, you drink, you overeat, you eat incorrectly. Every time you get together with family, you poison yourself. Yes or no? Yes, you do. Hey, you know, who wants to get together at family get-togethers because you're only going to die earlier? Right? Everybody doesn't everybody poison each other when they come together to celebrate? Come on, please. Right? And then there might be one healthy meal there and nobody hardly touches that. What the hell is that? Okay. I'm not, you know, I exaggerate everything just to get the point across. But the reality is guess what? You can't have respiratory problems unless you have anxiety. And you are eating an inflammatory diet, an infectious diet, because you have respiratory problems, because you have infection that creates inflammation. Inflammation causes mucus production, and now you're filling up the alveoli with mucus and you're drowning in your own pus. Thank you very much. There's your answer. So now, you don't have to have respiratory infections. You get yourself a portable nebulizer. It stays in the car. You get yourself a home nebulizer. It's only $125. And then you get our infinite iodine, which is, can somebody hand me stuff if I need it? I don't think it's on the table.
No.
Yeah. It's hard to get good staff. Okay. I'm just kidding. So understand something, and we're going to talk about this. I want more questions, because why don't we just do this, right? Isn't it fun? Okay, right? Anyways, this is infinite iodine, and this is not a sales pitch. I have the only pure iodine made in the world. It's the only molecular iodine in the world. This iodine, a stage 4 inflammation patient, which they call cancer, can do 1.5 ounces, and it disinfects their body. My iodine will actually, guess what? Totally dismantle a virus in 15 seconds. And that's every virus from HIV to COVID. Okay. Every virus, it'll be dismantled. All right. And understand, all you got to do when you start off, if your lungs were really bad, is you're going to take 1 part infinite iodine. Oh, and if you actually did it with Lugol's iodine or Nacean iodine, you're going to blow your thyroid out. And it's also toxic. There's no such thing as a pure iodine, except this is the only one in the world. I can say it because it's true. Now, did you know that I could drink a whole big bottle of this iodine? It wouldn't hurt me. If you did too much of Nacean or Lugol's iodine, you'll blow your thyroid out and you'll lose weight. Did you know that? They're not really meant for consumption, but they're the best we had. Infinite iodine, you take one part infinite iodine and 3 parts distilled water when you start. And if you structure it, all the better. And then what you do is you put in a nebulizer and you breathe that. Let's say you do 1 breath. That's how infected you are. See, most of you don't understand that when you're healing, your symptoms might get worse. And that's why you got to rest and you can't push yourself. And guess what? There is no sickness. Jim's homesick. No, he isn't. He's home getting well. Jim poisons himself on an emotional, mental, and physical level every day. He eats crap, thinks crap, and should shut his yap. Tell me I'm wrong. And guess what? Well, how long is he going to be sick? I don't know. How much crap came out of his mouth? How much crap went in his mouth? And how much crap is in here? And depending on how much that is, depends how he's going to be sick. Understand, your physical body is a Visa card. Most of you abuse it. And don't worry, nobody will ever notice, because everybody's abusing their body on this planet. And then you don't make any payments, but you use that Visa card every day. You make hardly any payments. You only make payments, and then your payments are usually to a medical doctor that is another poison to tell your body to shut up. Do you think that's a good relationship? To take a drug that tells your body to shut up, so now that you numb out, now you don't have any symptoms at all. Oh, I'm feeling so much better, doc. Thank you so much. He's so nice. So the reality is this: you are only as sick as your beliefs. You're only as sick as your beliefs. And the signals that you actually create in and around your cells creates your diseases. Now, what are you going to do? You're screwed now, because before it was genetics, was your fault. Okay. Did you know I have a sickness that only 1 out of 5 trillion people ever get? Wow. Wish I had one of those. 5 trillion. Well, that's what they do. They just roll the dice and make up shit.
And bring in new names.
So, can you tell that? I feel like I wanted to stay in Mexico, but no, I had to come up here because Lorraine.
It's all my fault.
Yeah. So anyway, so you take the infinite iodine, and you can start off by adding distilled water, but guess what? I do it straight. In my home, I have, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with me? I live on a planet and they're trying to kill me. What are you, a moron? And I mean, you have moronic beliefs. Because how many people have moronic beliefs? If you had moronic beliefs, what would that make you? I wasn't calling you a name. So don't have moronic beliefs. Don't have sick beliefs. Don't have poverty beliefs. Do you understand? Because chances are you're poor. So you can take the iodine straight, and that's what I do. If I'm sitting there listening to something, or if I'm sitting there and I'm just doing meditation or prayer, or I'm just being quiet, or if I'm just reading something, or I'm doing something, or I'm watching a video, I nebulize. Why? Do you have a breathing problem? No, I'm not going to. Thank you. Well, why would you nebulize iodine? Well, because, first of all, we know a powder can help. We know liquid's better, but gas goes everywhere. It's a gas. It goes into my lungs and disinfects my alveoli. You can believe this or not. I don't really care. But, we have elderly people coming to us and they have no money. And they've got stage 3 and 4 lung problems. And we get them to nebulize like crazy because they can't afford anything else. And it's not my fault that 6 weeks to 3 months, it's gone. They go, how long should I do it? And I go, when you start to cough, take it off and then put it back on. And it'll go into your brain. It'll go into your blood. It'll go into your sinuses, go behind your eyeballs. It'll go into your ear canal. It'll go everywhere in your body and it'll disinfect. Oh, you know what? They say I'm dangerous. I am dangerous, aren't I? Because that person's only spending pennies a day and they are getting life-saving, life-changing therapy that nobody else can give them. I can't give them that. They give it to themselves. And then what else can you do? Well, you can take our fulvic, our Bright Eyes fulvic. Okay, again, it's not my fault. I'm the only one that makes fulvic or humic in the world without chemicals. So you can put it in your eyes, but guess what else you can do? You can take our Bright Eyes fulvic and you can take that straight and put it into your nebulizer. Okay. And then what do? You can also take our silver bullet liquid, which is non-toxic. It's nano. And I use a 1,000-volt lightning bolt to bring up the frequency. It's all about frequency. And you can take 50% the silver bullet liquid and silver percent the fulvic and Bright Eyes nanos, and then you can do that. So what do? So that gentleman I told you, he's got throat cancer. He came down, and guess what? He couldn't even swallow or eat. 3 days into the program, he said 90% of my problem is gone. I can't even hardly tell that I've got throat cancer. I'm not telling you we don't reverse it. I'm not telling you he's going to reverse it. But how do you think he feels psychologically that 90% of his problem left in 3 days? What did we just tell him? You do know he was given 3 months. And he was told to go home because they could do nothing for him. And understand he's at DOD 5-star in our retreat in Extapa right now. His wife came with him, frustrated, angry, because I would be too. It only took us 2 days. She's rocking it. She came down and didn't realize she came down for her. Okay? She had some pretty nasty breast stuff go on. But she came for him because that's what we do. But now she's there for her. And she's going to come out of there a Braveheart hero. Goddess, I'm telling you right now. She's like, holy crap. Her life has already changed. And then what you do is you get a clapper. Can I get a clapper? Can we just bring everything over?
Has a question.
Come on into the hot seat.
Going back to iodine.
Can you come up here, please?
Just a quick question.
The exercise will probably do you well.
Difference between iodine and
Can I say something? You stay there. You want to know something? We're all scared, aren't we? To take the adventure, to show up, to lead the way. We all want the back seat. You can't have the back seat if you want to be the driver. Go ahead.
what's the difference between iodine and iodine?
Okay, infinite iodide goes directly to the thyroid. If somebody has a thyroid problem. If I had a thyroid problem, I'd be doing 5 sprays of infinite iodide a day. That's it, just 5 sprays. And then I would be doing 20 sprays of infinite iodine because infinite iodine disinfects the body. And then what's ever left over goes to the thyroid. And there's no toxicity on our stuff. So get that. Okay? There isn't. Okay? Now the clapper, if you were to clap each side 10 minutes of your lung area, okay? If you bruise, it says that you've got chronic lung problems. Only unhealthy people bruise. Come on, look at grandma. I don't know. I went to bed and I got up and I have all these bruises on my body. And that's because her tissues are rotting. And understand, when you clap, and if you go into my library, docofdetoxlibrary.com, and you look up clapping, I show you how to clap for COVID. So if you want to do that, you can do it. But I show you how to clap the whole body. Okay? All right. Show you how to clap heart problems out. So clapping it goes back thousands and thousands of years. And I'll tell you something, I do. I haven't been hitting it lately, but I'm usually every other day, I'll clap different parts of my body, but every other day I clap my neck, my shoulders, my face, and my head, and it takes me 1 hour and 20 minutes. And I clap this hard. You don't have to, but guess what? GPS in the body is called pain. If you have pain, that's a GPS saying that you are not looking after yourself. That's all. That's it. I have pain. Yeah, that's because you don't look after yourself. Because you don't know how. Don't feel guilty. You don't know how. Because guess what? How many practitioners do you go to? Body workers, nutritionists, and they don't tell you how to look after yourself, do they? They just treat you. And if you want to do that, that's called mistreat. Because if you're not being trained how to look after yourself and be your own practitioner, let me tell you something. We have a family coming and down to Mexico. And this is a family of 4, 2 teenagers, mother, father, and they're coming down to learn the Wolf non-surgical. And we've done it 100 times for families. They will never go to another practitioner. Why? Because they outdo their chiropractor, their massage therapist, their acupuncturist. They outdo everybody. Because when you learn Wolf non-surgical, and please, you can think I'm really conceited, but guess what? I don't see anybody else giving a money back guarantee. Does your chiropractor do that? Does your massage therapist? Does your physio? Does your acupuncturist? I have a doctor in acupuncture. I don't do it anymore because I'm trying to move energy around, and that's ridiculous because I'm only sticking needles in different places of the body to move the energy because there's a scar tissue or calcification block. That's all. So what if I could teach a family how to get rid of the calcification block, get the calcium back in the bones, and get rid of the scar tissue, and they have no blocks in their body? That means that guess what? It doesn't suck to get old because you're not getting old anymore. All right? Because the secrets lie in the joints. Okay? The secrets lie in the joints. You do know that. Okay? And if you didn't have a tumor, you'd be dead already because it's holding all that negative toxicity on an emotional and physical level. Are you with me yet? Understand something. Go ahead and spend thousands of dollars for the rest of your life, or don't come to me, but go to somebody that's going to teach you how to work your physical, your emotional, and your nutritional body. And then guess what? Rock your world and get it over with. What's wrong with you? Oh, I'm not feeling good. Well, why don't you go see your practitioner? They can't get me in for about a week. So, Seriously, become your own practitioner. It is so, okay. Dysfunctional to go for treatments. It's dysfunctional. What are you saying? I'm dysfunctional? Yeah, I am. You keep on waiting for someone else to fix you. Anyways, check out clapping. It's in my library. I've had just about enough.
You're all clapped out.
I'm all clapped out. Okay. Let me see what else we got.
Sorry, the library was on what website again?
The what?
DACA
The
detox.
vibrator? Did you say the vibrator?
The library
Oh, okay. Well, I swear to God, I saw.
for the expanding product line.
Listen, you know what? I could use a little bit of fun. Okay. Okay.
So it's at the Doc of Detox. So DOCOFDETOX library.com.
And then, yeah. Anybody else have a question before I read another question?
What's the clapper do?
Well, the clapper doesn't do anything. You've got to do whatever you want with it. I'm kidding. Okay. First of all, do you have a lump or a bump? You clap that lump or bump. No. I have swollen lymph. Well, then guess what? Start easy. Just like this. Does it hurt? No. Because guess what? You know what you're all Susie Bruisies. You're all victims. Tell me I'm wrong. You were programmed that way. You made pain into an enemy. I harnessed it. You can believe me or not believe me. 20 years, I'll still be rocking it. And you'll be going, oh, it sucks to get old. No, it sucks to be programmed. Okay. But here, so if I have a lymph node problem or a little bit of a sore neck, this is me. You don't have to do it, but mine's going to be gone in 2 minutes. Yours, you get to keep it for a month. It's true. You only have a lymph problem because you're constipated. Every one of you are constipated. That's not true. I go to the bathroom. I didn't say impaction. I say that every one of you can be accused of this. You go to the bathroom, you go, I know there's a little bit more. Squeeze that out. And just a few years that you got a whole manure pile rotting inside of you. You could not have cysts on your ovaries. You couldn't have a bladder infection unless you have a bowel problem. You can't have endometriosis. You can't have a fibroid. You can't have a tumor. You can't have a inflamed prostate. You can't have prostate cancer. You can't have infertility. Okay. You can't have, what else can't you have here? Well, you can't have ready for this? You're not going to believe this one. Oh, you're not going to believe this. 98% of all hip replacements are because you were constipated. 98% of all low back surgeries are because you were constipated. Okay. 65% of all knee problems are because you were constipated. Well, what do you think? You know what? We called it leaky gut. There's no leaky gut. It's leaky large intestine. And it's because they put antibiotics in all the animal products because it's called prevention. No, it's called getting you to eat them. Okay. They're in all the dairy products, all the animal products, and you've all had antibiotics before. And antibiotics, guess what? they vibrate below zero. How many people know that? Everything's about vibes, isn't it? Everything's about vibrations. Everything's about signals. And guess what? What does an antibiotic signal to the body? That you are dying or dead. That's what the signal is. That's why the yeast turns into fungus, because the fungus then causes and drills holes through your large intestine. And we call that leaky gut, because you have tight junctions and they come apart. And now you're pooping in your pelvis. Everybody. And that's why everybody's got fungus. How many people know this? That if you've got toe fungus in it, you can actually see it. You just haven't been diagnosed that you have cancer yet. Because if you got toe fungus, you know how much fungus you have to have in your body to have green toes? You're not a leprechaun, for God's sakes. And that means you've got fungus throughout your whole body. Now, does fungus cause cancer? No. Fungus grows in a low vibrational tissue. Did you get that? And do you have low vibrational tissue after you take antibiotics? You're so constipated, you can't think straight. And guess what you did? You knocked out 85% of your immune system, which was your large intestine. The bacteria. Oh, remember COVID? They're getting the soap, the bacterial soap in here, okay, to kill the virus. I mean, seriously? And you think we're the most intelligent species in the universe? We're not even the most intelligent species in this room. So you use bacterial soap that went into your bloodstream that actually killed the good bacteria in your large intestine. What kind of moron does that?
A program one.
No, you already know that guess what? You use bacterial soap to kill a virus that's not alive. Seriously, if we were to look at this, what has happened to us? You do know. Go back a few hundred years and take a look at the intelligent level of the human being. You will be so shocked. I know you don't want to believe this, but we didn't live in caves and we weren't, you know, you'll believe anything. Everything that you know is a lie, except one thing. You are loved. So anyways, now you take the antibiotics in the foods. And then guess what? They vibrate below zero. They vibrate below zero. So they turn the yeast into a fungus. It's called drill bit predators. They make the holes in your intestines. Now the parasites, how many here have had E. coli in their bladder, E. coli infections? Well, I hope you know, you pooped inside your kidneys. How many people have infections, vaginitis? You're pooping in your vaginal canal. Isn't that nice? Do you know why it smells like fish? Because you're pooping in it. The whole goal is for us to rot our pelvis out. That's command central. This is not the brain. The brain is actually your good bacteria is your brain. Your bacteria talk 9 times to your brain, and your brain only talks 1 time to your body for every 9 times your bacteria talk to your brain. Now, what if your bacteria have gone bad bacteria because of the environment they live in? Now you're getting the wrong signals. Did you get that? Oh, and then you did drugs that actually knock the bacteria out. So now they can't say the right messages. So understand something. People with bad moods have bad bacteria. Do you understand? People aren't bad. Their belief systems are bad because they're not theirs. How are we doing? Are we learning anything? understand something. Nothing should smell. If you got halitosis, you've got worms. If you got bad breath, you've got worms. Did you get that? Do you know why you have bad breath? Because hot air rises. Do you know why you have hot air rising? Because you have a rotten manure pile rotting in your pelvis. And that's in your large intestine. This is the front door, that's the back door. Did you know that? Did you know that you should never have smelly armpits unless you're rotting out? Did you know that? Okay. You'll never have painful periods unless you're rotting out. You'll never have blood clots unless you're rotting out. Okay? You'll never have any disease unless that part of your body is rotting out. Did you get it? And disease means you're not at ease, which you're not in alignment with what you need to do. Okay? Remember something. The window's closing, yes or no? The window's closing, yes or no? Now we've got turbo cancer, turbo diabetes, turbo heart disease, turbo everything. And understand, you can blame it on the V, but guess what? The biggest problem is because you're not in control of your emotions. They don't give a shit how upset you are that you believe it's the V or the chemtrails or the poisons in the food. You can't do crap except open up your yap. Blah, 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 blah. And they know it. You can't do anything. What you could do is take massive personal action and find your tribe. Find a place that you know you could have a beautiful life as the world is in. Do you know what this is called, this period right now? Does anybody know what this period's called? It's called the harvest period. And what are they harvesting?
People.
Humans. I'm trying to get the word out a little bit, but I'm not going to be part of the harvest. I'm going to stay away from the harvest. I'm going to harvest the perfect day for myself and anybody else who wants it every day. And they're not after me. We've given them the right to do this. What's a magnet assist hernia?
What are the benefits of using the magnets?
Oh, the magnet?
Yeah.
On a hernia? What kind of hernia? What kind of hernia? What? Oh, well, vibration is everything. But if you have an inguinal hernia, then you need to be on a whole plant-based diet and then move into just juice fasting. And then from juice fasting, do the advanced water fast and you won't have the hernia.
So
You won't have the hernia.
can you avoid the surgery by doing that?
Okay, how many people have come to us with hernias that have reversed their hernias?
All of them?
Or
All of them that decided they wanted it. You can reverse your hernia. Anybody can, if you create it, you can reverse it. Seriously, are we going to still be here to that topic? You can reverse anything that you created unconsciously when you're conscious. Wow, I did that. I created a hernia when I was unconscious. Yeah, you're pretty powerful. Now that you're conscious, look how fast you can turn it around. Listen, I have people that reverse their hernia. Do you know what a hernia is? What's a hernia? A hernia is an inguinal hernia is where you were pooping in your pelvis so long that you rotted out the peritoneal lining and your intestines are coming out through your gut. So what do you think we should do first? Should we do cleansing the colon and then start use daily cleansing tea, black gold, and then do the ultimate coffee enema twice a day? I guarantee if he was doing that, he'd already be on his way, but he's not.
well, again, the explanation for me was not the one you just gave us. This is something.
Well, the explanation that was given to you was probably given to you by the medical doctor. I know, but hold on a second. Let's make this perfectly clear. They're not in the health business. So we're not doing this anymore. Whatever you were told by your medical doctor wasn't a lie. That was his truth. So he's not lying, but they're not, are they in the health business? Okay, all right.
They're in sickness business.
Well, we don't even say they're in the sickness business. They're in the chemical business. Nobody can come after us for that because they are. What are they going to do? Oh, we're coming after you because you said we're in the chemical business. Well, wait a minute. Aren't you in the chemical business? Yeah, we are. But so yeah, they're in the chemical business. And the reality is this, it's not my fault. You go to doctors. You know, if you want to go to medical doctors and you want to go round and round, you go. And there's nothing about round and round because the reality is if you go to a medical doctor, you're picking the vibration of where you're at. You're picking a low vibrational healthcare. Yes or no? Yes or no? And you're not ready to get well yet. And he doesn't even know it. When you're ready to get well, you will take massive personal action and go, how do I become totally responsible for my day from the moment I rise until I close my eyes? That's what you will do. And then take responsibility. You're not responsible that you're sick. It's not your fault. But you're responsible for getting yourself well because it's not going to stay that way. Don't tell me anybody gets well. Nobody gets well. You don't get well by going to the chiropractor and having an adjustment every 2 weeks. You don't get well by coming to me, okay, for non-surgical. And if you don't change your personality or your reality, you won't change your reality. So I'm not putting anybody down. I'm just trying to tell you that if you're not teaching your patients to become their own practitioners, to get victims to become their heroes of the story, that's what we do. I don't really care what story. And you know what? I don't want to hear about the story from the medical people. It's got nothing to do. Yeah, but you don't understand. Well, I do understand. Genetics have nothing to do with disease, okay? DNA do not tell your story, okay? They don't. You change your story, you finish the ending into a hero story. If you change your story, you change your vibe. Daryl, I'm coming to you, and guess what? I don't want to come to you. Great. That's what I want. I want to know what you got that I don't need to come to you so that you don't keep taking my money. All right? Okay? Because I've spent too much already. Yes?
Their heads and stuff. Why is there babies and young children sick?
Oh, really? Oh, really? Come here and sit here for a second. And then we're going to talk, okay? And you're not going to like this answer.
I probably won't.
You're not going to like this answer at all.
Okay. Repeat that.
The female body and the female womb is the most miraculous thing that I know of. When a mother gets pregnant, she has a partner that usually stresses her out or leaves her. She has a partner that doesn't know how to treat himself well. She has a partner who does not know how to love her. She has a partner that doesn't know how to eat. And usually when a woman is pregnant, she eats an inflammatory diet. She's worried for the baby that it's going to come out deformed because everybody's paranoid. But guess what? That womb of yours, that's the oven. And there's no loving in the oven. 99% of all women before they get pregnant are already constipated and have bowel problems. 99% of all women that get pregnant eat an inflammatory diet and have addictions. And understand something. You take a look at the woman's personality and you take a look at what she eats and you'll see why the baby is in that shape when it comes out. And guess what? Nobody wants to talk about this, but it's not my fault. 95% of the baby's well-being is how you think, how you drink, and how you eat. 5% is the man, and he can't even look after that. He's already bitching about now he's got to buy diapers. And that's the deal. Every woman that has a baby has not been told that you are bringing in a spirit into your body. and it's coming into your womb. That, you know what? You should have detoxified your colon and you should have detoxified your liver before. We have what's called the perfect pain-free pregnancy. People come to us for 12 days. We teach them about unconditional love for themselves and each other. We teach them not to become husband and wife. Teach them to become spirit partners. Husband and wife suck. And you know it. Because husband and wife suck. They're at each other, and we don't want that. So we teach them that they're spirit partners, and they are welcoming a new spirit into her body. And guess what? They both need to be on a high vibrational, whole plant-based diet. And they both need to be doing the coffee enemas and the ultimate coffee enema. They both need to be drinking enough water. They both need to have high vibrational foods, and they both need to show love to themselves and each other before this happens. And understand something. I don't know any dysfunctional couples. I mean, I don't know any functional ones. I have met 3 couples in my lifetime that had this together. 3. Guess what? If I took a look at your diet, I'd be going, no way, Jose. You don't have these chickmunk cheeks because you're not inflamed. You're inflamed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you're inflamed, then that means your womb's inflamed. Do you want to know something? And then you can all get mad at me. Go ahead. The umbilical cord is wrapped around the baby's neck because it's trying to hang itself, because of the terrorism that's going on outside in the world and with the mother and the father. The baby has its feet on both sides of the vaginal canal and saying, hell no, I'm not going out there. She doesn't even want to be out there. And you know what? When the baby is born, and you know how many couples come to me with newborns? And it's got eczema all over its body. And then I explain why. And then guess what? I have done on 3-day-old babies, enemas. We're talking about little ear syringe, a couple of drops of tummy love, and we might do like 4 or 5 little enemas on that baby. And if you smelt what came out, it smelled like it's coming out of a 90-year-old rotten person. And worms coming out of a 3-year-old baby, and mucus strings. Whatever you eat, the baby eats. Whatever you feel, the baby feels. Why did I give you such a powerful answer? Because nobody talks like this. Because nobody tells the truth. They want the mothers to be stressed out, and they stress them out, don't they? When they go to the hospital. They're stressed out, the mothers. They're probably on drugs if they go to the hospital. And guess what? Oh, sorry. You know, the last 3 months, you're going to have to stay in bed. Why? Well, because we don't want you to lose the baby. Why didn't they tell her the truth? We need you to stay in bed because you rotted out your pelvic, the pelvic muscle, and the baby's going to fall out because there's no tone in there. Now, when you went to the hospital and they said the baby could be in jeopardy and you could be in jeopardy, did they say that you need to be on a whole plant-based diet, that you needed to get into vegetable juicing? Okay. My perfect day multi is better than any pregnancy multi that a woman can take on the planet. It'll outdo any of them. So I had this Lamaze lady, she came on, she goes, that's not true. And she looked and she said, yeah, you're right. There's nothing like it. Let me tell you something. If you unconditionally loved yourself, your partner did, and you ate high vibrational, you drank high vibrational, and you made sure that you're in an environment that you loved, there's nothing